we've been basically talking to one another for 8 weeks without seeing other human souls.
Which has been delightful.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be...
Over by Christmas.
Over by Christmas.
We hope.
Fuck, I hope it's over by Christmas.
Well, it wasn't over by Christmas then.
It wasn't.
I'm McDonald.
I'm Catriona Ward.
And this is episode 4 of Stay Indoors
And Read.
No, we're not doing music.
I was looking forward to the music.
Good afternoon, and welcome to episode 4. 735 people watched episode 3, which was good because between episodes 1 and 2 we lost 200 viewers.
We're going to see how many we can lose today.
We only started with 300. That's probably just your mum clicking on it lots of times.
Without doubt.
And episode 2 was good, so you should go and watch it if you haven't.
Yeah,
but
it's better than this will be, probably.
We haven't done one of these since May.
Yeah. I feel like years have passed since May, but they haven't, have they? Well, one has.
Yes, and you know we're not even at the end of this period, are we? So, what have you been up to?
Oh, well, amazingly, it's been quite busy.
As if everyone doesn't know already.
I mean, it may have gone unnoticed by large sections of the population. I've got a book coming out in March, The Last House on Needless Street.
And was that The Last House on Needless Street?
The Last House on Needless Street.
Is that the one that Stephen King was like, these are the best books since Gone Girl? And then everyone else was like, oh yeah, it is.
It's so kind of you to mention that, because it saves me from levering it into the conversation at every opportunity, which I do, believe me. So that comes out March 18th, and I've just finished another book, actually, which I... got editorial notes on today, so it's going to come out in 2022, I believe.
Great.
Yeah. So that's good. What have you been doing? Tell us everything.
I'd already submitted my book back in February, but it got bought up in the US and UK, and so I'm working on editing what is potentially called Daughter of Redwinter.
I like that title.
It's an epic fantasy with Scottish folklore themes.
Yeah.
And I would describe it a bit like if the Black Company ran Hogwarts, which won't mean anything to more literary readers maybe, but viewers. Yeah. But yeah, basically it's like that. So, but that won't be out till 2022. So until then, you can expect many fine videos like this.
So fine. Books take a long time, don't they?
They take too long.
They take a long time.
They should take 2 days and no more.
I know, and then you could write like 150 a year and still have a weekend every now and again.
Yes, that'd be... We don't have weekends. We're not allowed.
No, we don't have anything now. We're not allowed anything. No more nice things for us.
If you can refrain in the comments from saying about how much older we look since this pandemic has started.
We feel it, don't you worry.
We already know.
Feeling it. What are we talking about today?
First of all, I'm just going to say cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
Ding, ding.
What wine are you drinking? Is it nice?
I don't know. You got it for me.
Oh, yeah. It was just one on the shelf. I'm drinking Lamplighters 10-year... single malt. I'll be honest, I'm including that in the video because when we reviewed a packet of Pork Crunch, which aren't pork scratchings, they're Pork Crunch.
Pork Crunches.
The company who make them then started retweeting us, so I'm hoping Lamplighters might.
This is a shameless plug for Lamplighters. We really like.
We're
Lamplighters.
not sponsored by Lamplighters.
Not at all. We would love to be.
They might send us
if
a
you're
hamper.
Interested.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a hamper.
Please speak up.
Yeah. So we are shameless. Okay, so we're going to get on with our main topic. We said we'd try and keep this down to 10 minutes. We're already at 4.
Come on, let's go on with it.
So, should I go on a creative writing course, Kat, if I am a yet-to-be or already published author? What do you think?
Oh, I feel very sorry for anyone who's going on any kind of course or to any kind of university at the moment because it's just all online and sounds a bit joyless and...
You went on a creative writing course.
Focus up. Yes, I did. I did the creative writing masters at the University of East Anglia, and I found it really good. I mean, my how do you say, my class, all the other people in my workshop were kind of like very much more like literary and much more sort of like, whereas I was writing a story about a time traveling ghost. So it was, and you know, there was quite a lot of discussion about whether I should be writing those stories and like whether they had any merit. But do you know what? It's kind of like you hear the sort of things said that you always kind of have nightmares about people saying about your work. Like the worst thing has happened. Someone says, "I just don't get it and I don't like it," and you're like, "Oh, I'm still here actually." And actually, what it is I don't know if they teach you what to do, but they definitely can help you learn what not to do, simply by dint of reading 24 hopefully promising people's work and seeing what mistakes they make and being forced to apply a critical eye to lots and lots of people who are at the same kind of creative and career stage as you. Also, you could develop like a fantastic rapport with some people and build like beta readers which will last you for the rest of your life.
But I wouldn't have been allowed on your course, would I?
This is an error.
No fantasy allowed on that course.
That's true, and I think things are changing now. In that, you know, the sort of bastions of genre are being slightly eroded, so that there's more free flow between things.
So I mean, like we were thinking about doing the sort of debate about literary snobbery and the idea that fantasy and speculative fiction, sci-fi is not literature, which is obviously nonsense when you consider like Gilgamesh was the first seriously written work. You've got the Odyssey, Mallory, Canterbury Tales, Christmas Carol, like Beowulf, the first English, fiction. And really, we all know that like speculative fiction is the best fiction. It's just some people don't like to admit that they're not imaginative enough to write it. Possibly, or understand it.
Possibly, I don't. I think there's a kind of ghettoization of genre that does happen, where certain things are like, you know. In fact, the whole word genre is just used as like a big catch-all to talk about things that aren't very good. But I write in
it's
genre.
Pulp, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's trash.
Sort of cheap. It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's sort of cheap, tawdry books for tawdry people.
Like that Midsummer Night's Dream populist filth, isn't it? You know,
filth.
Rubbish. Or Macbeth, witches.
Or Mallory's Mort Darther.
Why not Henry VII? That's historical. That's got value.
Or The Tempest has a magician in it.
So what we're saying is basically we're more like Shakespeare than creative writing professors who won't allow you to do fantasy.
Is that what we've come to? Well, that's what we've arrived at.
I feel I've derailed this. So should we do creative writing?
It doesn't matter.
I didn't do a creative writing course ever. I didn't do English literature at A-level. I didn't do an English literature or creative writing degree. I just wrote lots and lots of stuff. Now, having said that, I also wrote like 1.5 million words worth of unpublished books before I found a footing. Which might mean that I could have got there a lot faster.
I think it can accelerate your pace, and certainly for me, I found that it joined up my thinking in terms of my critical brain and my imaginative and creative brain. I don't know if that's the intent. It may not happen for everyone. Certainly, some people didn't have good experience on my course. Some people, I think, 1 or 2 people left before the end. And don't get me wrong. I think there is definitely some quite sort of strong iron resolve is needed sometimes to listen to what people have to say about your writing, especially when you're at quite a vulnerable stage and, you know, just in the process of becoming. But
see, that constant critique though is really where the value comes in, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. See, for me, it absolutely is. I would say, you know, if for me it worked very well, for others, I know it did not. So I think, like most questions related to writing, it's a case of sometimes,
possibly,
maybe, in a way.
Rather.
Yes.
One thing I would say is that if I had my opportunities to advise someone who was like me when I was young, I would say to them, do English literature for a bachelor's degree, if you can, and then do a... Next up, book reviews.
Yes. Okay, so first up, this is what I'm reading at the moment. I haven't finished it yet, but I am gripped. This is The Lamplighters by Emma Stonex. This is out on the 4th of March. I'm going to put it up close. Isn't it lovely looking? I'm going to put it up close. And 4th of March 2021. It is it's very eerie, atmospheric, oozing atmosphere. Tale about 4 lighthouse keepers who go missing inexplicably off their lighthouse. When their relief comes to find them, they're just gone. And
that sounds good.
It's a really good mystery, and it moves between their narratives and their wives' narratives, who are left to ponder the disappearance and to process their loss. Very good. Emma Stonex, The Lamplighters. Excellent. Next one.
Next up out is Anna Wood's Yes, Yes, More, More.
Oh, Anna Wood's Yes, Yes, More, More. So
this book is really, really brilliant.
It's complete. It's very, very original and unique. It is, full disclosure, I did the UEA Masters with Anna back 10 years ago, and she's just produced this as her first short story collection.
Yeah, so it's an anthology of her short stories, but they're not published anywhere else, are they?
No,
does that mean it's not an anthology?
It's not an anthology, darling. It's a collection of short stories, and I don't know how to express how life affirming and also just magical, strange, and filled with vitality these stories are. And they're all about women usually on nights out and having quite a good time. Yeah, she's very much into hedonism and the beauties and perils thereof. It left me sort of reeling, actually. It's bookended by these 2 hot summers, one in Bolton and one in New Orleans. I won't say any more than that. But there's this you go with her every step of the way, and the detail, the tiny intricate beauty she finds in these tiny moments of life is just extraordinary.
So my take on it is that I feel like I've never read a book before where you become so instantly aware of who the character is, and the character changes from story to story, but you're so full of the character, like it's so intensely realised. It's little snapshots of life, which you can't help but sort of be plunged back. And I'm nearly 40, and like to be plunged back to what it feels like being your late teens, your 20s,
It's been a long time since you were a teenager in Bolton, isn't it, darling? Teenage girl in Bolton.
I've never been to Bolton or
been a teenage girl.
But now I feel like I have been.
Well, I am 40, and I just I think that sums it up really well. It grabs you in such a visceral way and puts you in the moment. I think these are stunning, and Carol Ann Duffy has given it an amazing blurb. She says that it's the new voice, a new star of literary fiction has arrived. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
We love it. We love it. We both love it.
Bow down to Anna. Okay, next.
Finally, The Kingdoms by Natasha Pulley.
Oh, The Kingdoms.
27th of May.
27th of May. Okay, so yes, okay. This was a magical reading experience for me. It is a time slip adventure set between various versions of London and the Napoleonic Wars. It's incredible, and various versions thereof, and you slip seamlessly. I don't know how she pulled this off. You slip seamlessly between these different speculative outcomes of what would have happened if you change a tiny thing. Also involving a lighthouse. Interestingly, maybe it's something in the air.
Many lighthouses
make light work. But I don't know how to express the joy I felt at this swashbuckling, time-travelling, intense, beautifully researched adventure. And Natasha also, as we know, has spent quite a lot of time on tall ships. I think partly for her own enjoyment, but also through research. And you can tell, like, her love of this, like, of sailing and of ships, and this very strange lifestyle just comes through. And the research is immaculate. The Kingdoms by Natasha Pulley.
5 stars?
All of these are 5 stars.
They're all 5 stars. We don't review books, so we
don't review books we don't like. So if you're not on this, you're crap.
That's
not true.
That's what's going to get quoted, Kat.
That's not true. I don't
okay,
mean
all
that.
right. Book reviews finished. Now, what's going to happen here is we're going to cut into an interview with a very fancy person and then come back. So
we need to freeze?
Yeah, we have to freeze.
Hello, Mr. Sock. Hello. Do we have a special guest for Stay Indoors and Read today?
No, we don't. No special guest.
Okay, if we found a fancy person, you'll have seen an interview with them, so hopefully you did.
And if you haven't, then you'll just be watching us sitting there.
Okay, finally, I asked people if they would provide us with some questions that they would like to ask about anything. So, is it on YouTube? Was one of the questions about our podcast.
Yes, it is.
If you're watching this, you probably got that already. Tim Brandon asks, can you talk a bit about bits of your writing you're particularly pleased with? Prose or an idea or even a phrase that you felt reflected well on you as the author? Other thing, I'm going to say no.
I don't think anyone's read any of my books.
I've said I've read all of them.
You've read them,
yeah,
but I've already heard your thoughts. I don't know that anyone's ever. I don't know.
Stuff that we think is particularly good. It's really hard to think of it. It's like basically like as soon as you've finished editing it for the final time, my favourite thing to do is close it and never look at it again. And like I find doing readings excruciating.
I don't mind doing readings, but you always do want to change it halfway through. You're like, that sentence sucks.
When I do readings, I start editing my words and changing
them.
I
think that's not uncommon. I mean, I think if you've had a glass of wine, you can read a page of your own work and not vomit. But otherwise, it's a bit like looking at photos of old boyfriends or something. Because by the time you've published a book and it's gone into the world and been published, you're already at least one other book in.
That's true.
You've left it behind. You're a completely different person on a molecular level, probably. On a particle level. What do I mean? I just mean.
That'll do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You get it.
We know the words.
These guys get it. Sorry.
Yeah, writing words.
You get it. So I think that quite often it can feel a bit like that melancholy feeling you get when you see a photograph of yourself as a child. You're like, this is sort of it's quite sort of fond but distant, and also maybe a little nostalgic, but not connected that much. And
I tell you what, I can tell you what, I can tell you a bit that I am really proud of from my own books.
Shock. Shock.
It's not. It's at the end of Crowfall, at the end of my third book. There are so many plot threads being woven together.
Yes,
in order to bring the climax in the final book.
I'd agree with that.
That when I got to write the final moments where the reveals happen and you realise, hopefully, what everything through all three books have come together to make. Yeah. That is a bit that I'm really proud of, because there are so many different threads all weaving together. And you know, when it pays off, as I hope it does, then for me it does. Yeah,
it does. It's a very good ending.
If you don't like your own books, I'm stealing this today. I saw who was it? I think I saw it's probably like Joe Abercrombie.
I'm gonna have to hurry and call her.
Yeah, tweeting about this, but I don't want to steal their line, which was, if you don't like your own books, then no one else is going to like your books,
because other people to
suck. Yeah. So, but it's true.
Well, you like them while you're writing them, but I think you move on from them emotionally and invest in a new book. You know,
that's very true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was all the questions we got.
We have to review something.
Household review. Why don't you get that marzipan thing?
Okay.
Household review. Our final segment today.
Right,
we don't have time for questions from a 3-year-old.
We've run out of time. I think we've tested your patience.
We are reviewing this marzipan chocolate thing.
There we go. It's fucking delicious.
Fucking delicious.
Oh my god. I think that's all.
Who's it by?
Okay, it's
Ritter Sport. Again, we're not sponsored by Ritter.
Would that we were.
If they'd like to send us a hamper.
This is just basically a hamper grab.
Yeah. But no, it's got marzipan inside it. It's got chocolate on the outside. It's delicious.
It's really good.
All right, we're out of time.
Listen, bye.
Thank you for doing.
See you in another year.
Hope lockdown's ended by the time we come around to do one again. All right, bye everyone.
Bye. Stay indoors and read.
Stay indoors and read.
Stay indoors and read.